funeral is about to begin, sir.
I think we just picked up Dracula. It's got a death curse.
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Never Not Horror. I am Steve Clark.
And I am Rich Hansel.
And this is episode, man, I forgot to look again. It's 23. Last time was 22. So this is Deep Dive Movie Review episode number 23. And it is Richie's turn to pick this time around. If you listened last week to Quick Cuts, then you already know what it is. But if you don't, Rich, tell us what we're going to review today.
We're going to take a look at 1993's Leprechaun.
Leprechaun. I like it. So if you are new to the show, we do our deep dive movie reviews in 4 sections. First, we will talk about our history with the movie, and then we will get into some fun fact, cast and crew, behind the scenes kind of stuff. And then at that point, we will do a full plot walkthrough with spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, that is when you're going to want to take a time out and go watch it, and then come back and hear what we have to say. In this case, with it being March now and St. Patrick's Day is coming along, the entire series, except for like maybe 1 or 2 of the more recent ones, but like 7 or 8 Leprechaun movies are all streaming on, I believe it's Peacock. One of the big streamers though, so not hard to track. It's probably on Tubi and stuff too, I would imagine. So not a hard movie to track down. So yeah, we'll do the plot walkthrough with the spoilers. And then at the end, we will give our official Never Not Horror Howls rating and review. So, Rich, this is your pick. I know you are a fan of St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Green Beer Day. I know you get out on the tours and whatnot. So
day drinking all day.
So this is your jam. So your pick. What is your history with Leprechaun?
I saw Leprechaun shortly after it was released on DVD or video cassette.
Would have been VHS by then.
VHS,
back then.
Yeah. So that was the first time I saw it, and obviously first time I ever saw Jennifer Aniston. And
yep.
But yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about it actually. I mean, I do remember liking it well enough. I would have been 18 or 19 years old.
Yep.
And I liked it back then, and that's about my history with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I remember seeing it shortly after it came out on video. Probably saw trailers for it. It's not. I know I didn't go to the theater to see it, but I would have been 93. I would have been 10. But yeah, I remember being a 10, 11-year-old kid and really getting a kick out of the Leprechaun and being a horror fan already, because it is in some ways it's horror somewhat aimed at younger people, or children could watch it.
Right.
But it is pretty graphic in a lot of scenes. And it's not, is it rated R? I can't remember if it's PG-13 or R.
I would think it would have to be rated R.
With just the violence and stuff. But the Leprechaun is fun. Like it toes the line of being a horror comedy, really. Yeah. So I just remember really like it was a movie. We owned it on VHS and I watched it all the time. Then we got it on DVD, and it's definitely just one of those movies you can throw on any old time and watch Leprechaun.
Absolutely.
Funny, my brother, fan of the show, Jim, he texted me today. He must have just listened to Quick Cuts today, and he heard that we were going to do Leprechaun, and he texted me and said, I love Leprechaun. I watch it like once a month.
Well, good.
Yeah, so I told him, like, yep, we're doing that one today. So, but yeah, and I remember, like I said, a lot of the sequels are on Peacock or whatever right now. I have not seen all of the sequels, but I haven't either. I've seen a good handful of the earlier ones. I never saw Leprechaun in Space.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen Leprechaun in the Hood, the first one.
Yeah.
But it gets goofy and it keeps up with that horror comedy thing. So, but yeah, it was definitely a movie I grew up watching for sure, and I'm a fan. So, and I don't mean it to undersell it, but it's not like a Night of the Living Dead where it has like this earth-shattering impact on me.
Right.
It's not that,
Yeah.
but it's a really fun horror movie. So
it's kind of like watching Dumb and Dumber or something.
Yes, yes.
That type of thing. It's not going to win no awards or be on your top.
but you're going to enjoy it every
greatest
time.
movies. Yeah, every single time you watch it, you have fun with it.
Yeah, and when I watched it this time to refresh for this episode, it had been a good while since I had seen the movie. It had been at least a couple years since I've seen it, so it was nice to go back and give it a fresh watch.
Yeah.
Well, we will go ahead now and transition to the cast, crew, behind the scenes kind of stuff. So here we go.
Come closer. Let's take a look behind the curtain.
All right. So, yeah, Leprechaun came out in 1993. I think that is correct. On most cases, that is what I'm seeing, but IMDb said 1992, so it's throwing me.
Something's going on.
More often than not, it says 93, so that's what we're going to go with. Written and directed by Mark Jones, and I looked into him. He directed a shit ton of the Leprechaun franchise movies. And he also, the only other thing that I saw on his filmography that I knew was a very Leprechaun-like horror movie called Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
Which I remember seeing that once back when it came out in the 90s. But then other than that, he did a lot of TV and cartoons. And
I kind of looked him up too and saw that.
Not a director I'm super familiar with, but it appears his claim to fame is kind of the Leprechaun series. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, starring Jennifer Aniston, a very young, early role for her. Maybe her first role, I'm not sure.
I think it was, yeah.
I do know when I saw this, I mean, if Friends, well, I don't even know if Friends was out yet, but I definitely didn't watch it.
No, it was not out yet.
So, yeah, I didn't know her as Jennifer Aniston, the superstar now.
Sure, she was just a young actress.
Yep, making her start in horror like so many big actors and actresses do. Warwick Davis plays the title character, the Leprechaun, does an amazing job.
He does.
He is, of course, famous for Star Wars, playing the lead Ewok, Wicket, and Willow.
Plays Willow, yeah.
He was also more recently in the Harry Potters as one of the bank goblin things.
Yep. He was in Labyrinth.
Yeah. So very well known classic actor, really. I mean,
I actually saw that I think he has grossed the most money as a supporting actor in the history of movies.
That's impressive.
I swear I saw that when I was looking him up today.
When you're getting that Star Wars money, though, that helps a lot.
It does. It does. And Harry Potter.
For sure. All right, so then we also have starring Ken Olant. I'm sure maybe how you say that.
Yep.
He was in Summer School, which is an 80s comedy that I liked. And April Fool's Day, which is a horror movie that I don't believe I've ever seen. If I did, I was young and I haven't seen it since.
I think I've seen it, but I remember.
I remember the movie cover and seeing it in the video store. So he was in that. Mark Holton plays Ozzy, probably my favorite character in this movie.
Mine too. Yeah.
And I know him. The two big ones are Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I watched the shit out of that movie growing up, and then Teen Wolf. He was Michael J. Fox's teammate in Teen Wolf.
Yeah, what was his name? Chubby.
Chubbs or something like that.
Chubby. I think he was in Teen Wolf too.
He was.
Well.
He was in both of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Then Robert High Gorman, the kid in the movie, which he was in a bunch of 90s movies. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Also was in a Stephen King adaptation. Sometimes They Come Back.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was in The Nanny with Hulk Hogan.
Yes, he was. Yeah, so a very 90s recognizable cast here.
They're all recognizable in the face.
Right, and I think that helps too, like to kind of push this past like just the slush of B horror or whatever.
Yeah,
just having that really well known, so many people or so many actors that you recognize and you can latch on to, so that helps. I didn't find a whole lot of fun facts about this.
Yeah, I didn't either. I did see that at the end of the movie there was supposed to be a certain quote, and I can't remember. Instead of saying that, which I will say it at the walkthrough, so I won't say it now. But, and then I do know that they actually wanted this as like a dark, sinister horror movie at first.
I did read that, yeah, that it was initially they wanted a more straightforward horror movie,
Yeah.
and I think it is the better that they didn't go that route.
Yeah, and I did see that our director, Mark Jones, saw a Lucky Charms commercial and was inspired to make this movie because of that.
No shit.
Yep.
One thing I read was that there were a couple. Well, the one that I remember, there were special thanks in the credits, and one of them was to George Lucas because Warwick Davis was under contract to him, and they had to get his permission for him to be in the movie, and he gave them permissions and let him like out of the contract or whatever to go do that. So there's a thank you to George Lucas in the credits, and we got the Leprechaun because of it. What about budget on the Leprechaun?
The budget I have was $900,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair, but not groundbreaking.
Yeah,
or anything.
I mean, considering I mean, there's not like the Thing level effects in this, but the Leprechaun looks great, and there is a lot of gore, so that's pretty solid that they pulled that off for under $1 million.
That's what I thought. And then the box office, this was pretty good. It surprised me, $8.5 million.
Damn.
Yeah.
8 times your budget.
Right.
Yeah, that's how you get like 9 more Leprechaun movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it really took off after it came out on VHS for rentals.
Yeah.
It really took off then.
Yeah, and I read something that Warwick Davis, at first, after doing the movie, he was worried. He kind of regretted maybe doing it, but then it blew up and it turned into a franchise. He got to reprise that role so many times. So he ended up being very happy that he did it. But initially, he didn't. He thought it was going to bomb, but it didn't turn out that way. Well, at least box office, it certainly didn't bomb.
Right.
And like I said, it spawned many sequels. I'm looking right now to see exactly how. So we had, I'll do the rundown here. We had Leprechaun in 93, January 8th, 1993. Maybe that's where the 92 thing leaks in because it was right on the edge.
Yeah.
Leprechaun 2, 1 year later. Leprechaun 3, 1 year after that. Then Leprechaun 4, In Space. Then Leprechaun in the Hood. Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Leprechaun Origins and Leprechaun Returns. I've not seen the last 3 or 4, I don't believe. So I've seen about half of the franchise. But so we've talked pretty positively about this movie. So we'll turn the tables and talk Rotten Tomatoes about Leprechaun. Because combined tomato meter popcorn score, this is probably the lowest rated movie we've watched.
I kind of figured it would be.
Yeah. I would have to look back to confirm that. I don't remember where like Night Flyer and stuff like that was, but tomato meter critic score is 35%.
Whoa.
Popcorn meter fan score 33%.
Ooh, so it's about
they're even. The critics give it a little bit of an edge. But,
yeah.
So yeah, this is. I think that kind of is the definition of like a cult classic, where critically and popularly not necessarily big, but then you get that group of people that just really like the movie.
I'm sure there's a handful of people out there that this is their favorite movie of all time.
That might
I
be.
mean, it has to be to a few select people.
Right. Well, do you have anything else?
I do not.
I think we covered it pretty good. It's not the deepest of movies, so I mean, there's not a ton to cover, but fun cast, very generous budget, very good return. So I think it's pretty. It set the stage for itself pretty well.
Yeah, and it sets us up for St. Patrick's Day.
It sure does. So, all right. Well, if you have not seen the movie, now is your time to pause the podcast and go check it out. Don't let us spoil it for you. But if you do, then that's on you. And after you've watched it, come on back and we will walk you through and let you know what we thought of Leprechaun. So here we go.
Last chance to turn back. Don't say we didn't warn ya.
All right, Rich, your pick. You do the honors. Let's get into it. Take us through Leprechaun.
All right, we open up with right out of the chute. We get our Leprechaun.
Yep.
There's
stop the walkthrough right now, because that's the first talking point. the movie opens with the villain, with the Leprechaun, which is so unique.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. This isn't Friday the 13th or Halloween where you're going to wait. You're going to see POV shots or hiding behind the bushes. You get full glory Leprechaun in the opening frame of the movie.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah, so he's coming down some dingy stone stairs, kind of like into a cellar or something, and he uses some magic and shuts the door at the top of the stairs, and he sits down with his pot of gold. Because we know
every leprechaun's got one.
And he has a little rhyme, he says, try as they will, try as they might, who steals me gold won't live through the night.
I love it.
Yeah, pretty creepy. And he's got the cackling kind of does remind you of the Lucky Charms guy, except with more of a cackle. And
more sinister.
Yeah. But has a slight accent. Warwick Davis doesn't have the greatest accent, but it works.
It's fine.
Yeah. So we cut scene, and now we see a car pulling up to an old farmhouse, and this is going to be Dan O'Grady. And I kind of dig how they don't need a backstory here. They just get right into this, and he throws out a bottle of Jameson, obviously, because this is going to be an Irish guy. And a woman comes out on the porch and kind of gives him the riot act and asks where he's been. And he is in a limousine, and he's got the driver, and the driver carries his bags up, and she's wondering how in the hell he's afforded a limousine. And then he asks if the funeral parlor delivered the package, and she was beside herself because he was supposed to be at his mother's funeral, and she was going to be, I imagine, buried in Ireland is where he's coming from. Does not say that.
Right.
The man tells his wife that they are rich after she's wondering.
Right. And they set it up pretty between the wife's response, they don't have money. They're not rich, they're not wealthy people.
You can tell by their house. It's just an old farmhouse.
They're just regular people.
And they both do have Irish accents, so they're probably Irish by birth. And he grabs the urn that his mother's ashes, you would think they were in, and he breaks it open, and it's full of gold. And he tells her that he caught a leprechaun and it had to show him where its gold was. I guess that's a rule in leprechaun lore. If you catch him, he's got to tell you where the gold is. And she just thinks he's crazy and nuts. But he goes out to the barn to hide the gold. And while he's out at the barn, the woman hears a child voice singing. And she goes to investigate. And she finds her husband's luggage. And the voice is coming from the bag, and she opens it, and the leprechaun jumps out, and the woman falls down a set of basement stairs and dies. Does kind of a back roll down these cellar stairs. So the man comes back from hiding the gold in the barn, and he hears his wife, and he goes to investigate. But it's not his wife because, again, leprechaun lore, they can mimic anybody or anything. So the leprechaun is throwing his voice to sound like his wife.
Yep.
And so the man pulls out a 4-leaf clover, which is like kryptonite for leprechauns. Again, leprechaun lore.
Yeah, the lore doesn't lie.
And the old man O'Grady, he shoots the leprechaun, which doesn't kill him, but it gives him time to pick up the body, put it in a crate, and he nails the crate down and puts a 4-leaf clover on top of it, which we learn that's the kryptonite for leprechauns.
It's the silver bullet, as it were.
Yep. So then the man pours gasoline all over the basement. He's just going to burn the whole place up, including himself. His wife's gone, so he's going to do that. And as he's getting ready to light the match, he falls over with appears to be a heart attack or something. And as he does, a kind of a stiff wind comes, which we assume is Leprechaun using his power, and blows the match out.
Yeah. And you hear the leprechaun laughing.
Yeah, you can hear it laughing from the crate. And that is the scene.
Yeah, the cold open.
Yep. So now we roll credits and we see a Jeep driving down. And it does say 10 years later. and it's driving down the rolling hills, and we have a father and a daughter, and they are in North Dakota, middle of nowhere, so that's we find out our setting right there. And they are going to be staying in an old farm for the summer, and they have some back and forth dialogue. We find out the daughter is not happy with this move, and she really wants to stay in the city. She's kind of a city girl, spoiled brat, if you will. And this is Jennifer Aniston.
A little bit of a cliche, like the, ew, I don't want to be in the country.
Yeah. Very predictable, very predictable. So the daughter, her name is Tori, and again, like I said, she's played by Jennifer Aniston. Her father's name is J.D. Tori and her father go down to the basement once they get to this house. They pull up to this old farmhouse, and Tori sees a spider and tells her dad that she's out. She's getting a hotel in the city, and she's not going to stay there for the summer. So she goes out and get on her cell phone. She does have a cell phone. This must be early cell phones. I never had a cell phone in 1993.
No.
Not even close to it.
I had one in 2003.
So as she's getting on the phone, she backs into a painter and knocks some thinner out of his hand. And this is going to be our hero of the movie, if you will. This is going to be her love interest, basically. And he is a handsome painter, young guy, and he is hired by her father to spruce up the paint job on this old house to make things more comfortable. And Tori tells the painter that she's getting a hotel because she can't stand it here. And again, very cliche moment here. The painter is like, well, it's typical. Women are afraid of spiders and things like that. And I would not expect you to stay here because you're just a girl. You're just a scaredy old girl to stay out in the country. Well, this gives her, again, very cliche, very 80s and 90s driven point here. She toughens up to show the young stud that she can indeed. So as her dad's coming up out of the basement, he says, Tori, you're right. We should just stay at a hotel. We'll give it up. And she gathers her wits, and to prove the painter wrong, she says, no, we're staying, Daddy. We're staying. We're going to stay right here. I love this old place. Just to, throw this painter for a loop. Now we get introduced to Ozzy, and he is a dim-witted fellow. And he is played by Mark Holton, who played Chubby and Chubbs and Teen Wolf. And then we also meet Alex, played by the Robert Hy Gorman. Alex is Nathan's little brother, and Ozzy and Alex, they just kind of help Nathan, the painter. Yeah, they help him on odd jobs. So at this point, Tori goes in the basement to give Nathan a drink. We kind of fast forward a little bit, and she's got some drinks, kind of going to flirt with him a bit. And she goes down into the basement. So Nathan pops out, and it's kind of a dark and dingy basement, and he comes out and startles Tori, and she spills the drink on the crate, which we find out is the crate that Dan O'Grady locked the Leprechaun in. So Nathan tells Tori about O'Grady. There's kind of his town story about how O'Grady, he was a weirdo, and that he had a stroke back in the day.
Yep.
And they two decide, since this could be anything, this could be exciting, that maybe they should open the crate and see what's in it. So as they're just getting ready to open it, they hear Ozzy screaming outside. So as they go outside, they see Ozzy is covered in paint. Tori tells Ozzy that he can go into the inside, and kind of what happened is Alex pulled a trick on him and covered him in paint and laughed and pointed at him. And they're kind of friends, but they're probably on the same
maturity level.
Yeah, because the kid is what you think, probably
12, 13 maybe.
Yeah, and I would say he's probably got an IQ higher than our Ozzy character.
He's smarter than Ozzy.
Yeah. So Ozzy goes in to get cleaned up, and he starts hearing a voice. And it is a child's voice, and he's hearing it from the basement. So Ozzy goes down to the basement, to check on the voice. Once he's in the basement and the leprechaun's still using child's voice, asks to let him out. Ozzy wipes the crate off to kind of get the dust off, and when he does, the old rotten 4-leaf clover falls to the ground, and that is going to release our curse, or not our curse, but the protectant cover to keep the leprechaun in the crate.
I think the dialogue here is kind of funny, but because Ozzy is like mentally challenged and something like not. I don't know exactly what he is. Just I mean, dim-witted is probably just as good a word as any, but. He's talking to the crate. He's like, "How'd you get in there?"
It's pretty funny. He does a good job with this. That Ozzy guy does. He's kind of like the same character as Chubbs and Teen Wolf.
Yeah,
maybe a little less mature.
Right.
So he lowers his ear down to the crate, and when he does, the leprechaun busts out of the top of it, scares the hell out of Ozzy. He falls down on his back. So Ozzy, after he's freaked out, the leprechaun asks Ozzy if he's seen his gold. So now that's the next step for the leprechaun is to reattain his gold. So Ozzy runs up the stairs, but the leprechaun uses his powers, shuts the door. But Ozzy, he reaches the doorknob, opens the door, and then we hear the leprechaun say, "He only got away because my powers are weak, and I need my gold." Mm-hmm. So we get another leprechaun lore there that once he gets all his gold back, he will have full powers again. So Ozzy runs outside and tells the others that there's a leprechaun in the basement.
I love that part. There's a leprechaun in the basement!
Obviously, the others don't believe him. But Nathan says that he'll go down and check just to make everybody happy. And then it ends up Tori, Alex, and Ozzy. They all join him. And they hear a noise, and when they get into investigate a dark corner, a rat comes out. Ozzy insists that it was a real leprechaun and not just a rat, and still the others just think he's kind of just simple-minded fool, really. So now back outside, once they go back outside, we see a rainbow. Mm-hmm. And more leprechaun lore, here we are. I mean, they go full throttle into this. Yeah,
we're getting into everything.
Ozzy says it's the magic rainbow and asks young Alex to go look for the end of the rainbow. The two, they run off together and actually find the end of the rainbow on an old pickup truck, rusted and broke down.
Yep.
When they look into the truck, they find the gold that Dan O'Grady had hidden out there. So now they are in possession of this leprechaun's gold. Ozzy accidentally swallows one of the gold because he was going to bite into it and see if it's real. They're kind of wondering if it's real or not. And while biting it, that's when he swallows the gold. So Alex and Ozzy decide not to tell anybody else because you know how adults are. If they tell them they have it, then the adults will take it away, and then they won't be rich anymore. So they make up this silly plan to hide it, and they decide to hide it in an abandoned old well at the farmhouse. So back at the house, Tori and Nathan, they're painting the house, and she's kind of still flirting with him, and she goes to get more paint or a paintbrush, I can't remember what, out of Nathan's truck, and while she's leaning over the bed of the truck, she feels something rubbing her leg, and she kind of
she's like, Nathan.
Yeah, she thinks it's our guy Nathan, flirting back with her. And all of a sudden, it scratches the hell out of her. We do end up seeing the leprechaun under there. Mm-hmm. We find out it is leprechaun, and it does scratch the hell out of her leg.
What she realizes because she turns around and sees she's feeling it rubbing her leg, and then she turns around and sees Nathan by the house.
Yeah,
and then it scratches her.
Right. Yeah. So Nathan runs up to help her, and they hear a cat, and they think that's what scratched her leg. So JD comes running over also, which is Tori's dad.
Yep.
And they find an old tree, and it's kind of hollowed out. And JD, he reaches into the narrow opening of the hollowed out tree, and they keep hearing this cat meowing from down in it, and he's reaching. And we see, as viewers of the movie, that it's actually the leprechaun using, again, his magic voices to sound like a cat. And as JD's reaching in there, he bites his hand pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty damn bad. causing a big gashing bloody wound on his hand. So now with JD all banged up, they all have to load up into Nathan's truck and take JD to the hospital, and it kind of leaves the leprechaun alone at the farm. So while Nathan and Tori take JD in the hospital, Alex and Ozzy go to a pawn shop because they're not going to go in the hospital because it don't fit the screenplay.
It wasn't in the script. They don't know him.
Right. So they end up going to the pawn shop, and they really want to see if they have one gold coin, and they want to see if it is real or not.
Yeah.
So when they take it to the pawnbroker, he kind of looks at it, and he thinks it could be the real deal. And as they're in the pawn shop, we see the leprechaun coming on a kid's tricycle down the road. So he has followed the group into town, which is hilarious.
Via tricycle.
Yeah, and it's kind of sped up video, which
Yeah.
makes it even funnier. Because
Right.
I'm sure Warwick Davis's little legs couldn't hardly turn it, so they had to speed it
Yeah,
up.
there are definitely scenes of fast-forwarded footage to make him look faster.
Yeah. So the pawn shop owner tells him that it looks very valuable and asks if he can keep it overnight to study the coin and learn a little more about it. And they all agree. And Alex and Ozzy go back to the hospital to meet back up with the others. Now alone with the gold coin, the pawnbroker hears noises, and it's kind of getting dark, and he starts to unlock his safe to put the gold coin in, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And an empty tricycle rolls up and kind of rolls up next to him out of nowhere. So he goes to investigate, and he hears some bells ringing. He goes to investigate, and he can't find anyone. He goes back to his safe, unlocks it, and the leprechaun is in the safe, jumps out. And he's saying he wants his gold back, and he bites the broker's leg and takes the coin from him, leaving the broker hurt but still alive. Then this is good. This has got to be one of the most unique kills in movie history, but the leprechaun goes and gets a pogo stick. You imagine there's a pogo stick in any old pawn
sure,
shop.
Right. Guitars and pogo sticks.
So the leprechaun gets on the pogo stick and he starts pogoing on top of the broker. And I mean, it's just it's pretty good makeup.
Yeah,
and
like his
special effects.
blood is spurting out of his mouth with each impact.
I didn't know a pogo stick could cause that much damage.
If you hit the right spot, I guess.
I guess, because he destroyed this old man. It looked like he got shot over and over again, but it's just a little soft end of a pogo stick. But
it's that leprechaun magic. And he sings while he's doing it. Did you write it? I don't remember.
I did not write
It's like
that.
something we play pogo on his lung.
Yeah. It's hilarious. The stuff they put in here for the leprechaun to say is great. But it ends up killing the man. But as he gets done killing, more leprechaun lore is leprechauns cannot stand dirty shoes.
Yeah.
So if they see a dirty shoe, they have to stop whatever they're doing and clean the shoe before they can continue.
He even says that when he gets out of the crate in the beginning, and he's talking to Ozzy. He says he's a shoe something by trade.
I think a shoemaker.
Something like that, yeah. So yeah, he's invested in shoes.
So he actually stops and cleans this the pawnbroker's dirty shoe. And then after he takes the coin, he says, 1 gold coin, 99 to go. So he has got to find the rest of his coins, and we learn that there's 100 gold coins.
Like a video game, you got to find all 100 coins.
Exactly. So the leprechaun looks over, and what's he see in a pawn shop? Of course, it is a small child's-like car. I guess kind of, what was those old...
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Or not Hot Wheels.
Yeah,
Power Wheels.
Power Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, you imagine it kind of being like that. So the leprechaun gets in the car.
It's a convertible, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. So now we're back at that cut scene, and we're back at the restaurant, and Tori and Nathan are getting a bite to eat. And through dialogue, you find out that JD has to stay in the hospital overnight, so he is going to be out of our movie for quite a while now.
Yep.
And the leprechaun takes a small car and drives down the road. when he passes a police car, of course, and the guy's just looking like, what the hell? So, of course, he turns his lights on and goes and pursues the leprechaun. He pulls him over, and he tells him to take the mask off, but the leprechaun, he grabs the officer's face and takes his gun from him. And when he grabs his face, he's got the big, nasty-looking claws, and he kind of cuts the guy's face pretty bad.
Yeah.
And takes his gun, and the officer runs, and he takes off, hurt pretty bad, and the leprechaun, of course, chases after him. And now they're in the woods, and the officer, he finds the leprechaun's hat. So once he picks up the hat, he's kind of looking around where the leprechaun is, and he sits down and leans against a tree, and about that time, the leprechaun jumps out of the tree, jumps on our officer's shoulders, and grabs him and breaks his neck.
Yep.
Dead police officer. So now we're again back at the restaurant. Ozzy and Alex have joined Tori and Nathan at their table, and we cut that scene. It just allows us to understand that they're all back together again. And the leprechaun goes back to O'Grady's house in his nice little sports car. And he's going to go look for his gold, which we know is in the abandoned well where Alex and Ozzy stashed it. So while searching, he finds a bunch of old shoes and in that farmhouse while he's looking for the gold. And, of course, he has to stop and clean all the shoes up. He shines them all up. And when the group returns home to the house, they see a huge mess in the kitchen and a bunch of clean shoes on the kitchen table. It's kind of funny.
It is.
Yeah. So Ozzy suggests, obviously, this was the work of the leprechaun. And still the rest of our group believes none of this.
Yeah, and Alex gets frustrated a lot through the movie and tells Ozzy to stop saying the stupid leprechaun stuff.
Yeah. And Alex does kind of feel sorry for Ozzy. He's befriended him because he knows he has no other friends.
He's hard on him, but he cares about him.
Yeah, he does. He's probably his best buddy.
Yeah.
So we kind of fast forward, and they're just getting done cleaning the house all up, and Tori and Nathan hear a bell, kind of like a bike bell.
Yep.
Bring, bring. Mm-hmm. And they go to investigate the sound, and they find Ozzy, who found a bell, and it's just Ozzy ringing this bell. They leave the room, and now Ozzy alone with Alex wonders if a leprechaun could be killed, and Alex says anything can be killed. Knowledge from a 12-year-old boy.
Right. Wise beyond his years.
Yeah. So later on, Tori hears the bell again, and she yells at Ozzy, tell him to quit ringing it. When they walk into the room where the bell's coming from, Ozzy and Alex are in the room with the bell sitting in between them, so it's obviously not them.
They weren't doing it.
Yeah, they wasn't ringing the bell. It's a different bell ring. So Nathan goes outside to investigate alone. Armed with only a flashlight, Nathan trips and falls into an animal trap, which just happened to be set in the yard right there.
Right, a bear trap.
Yes, a bear trap. So after he falls, the leprechaun jumps out and tries to get him, but Nathan fights him off with the flashlight. The others hear this commotion and run out to find Nathan caught in the bear trap. And then the leprechaun jumps out and attacks Nathan in the trap. Alex goes in to get a shotgun, and Ozzy goes to call the police. And, of course, the police don't believe. We get a scene with the police station while he's on the phone. He's saying, there's a leprechaun. Send the army. Send the Navy. Send everybody. There's a leprechaun killing everybody. And you get some back and forth dialogue with the police officers. Like, Ozzy's on the phone. They know who this guy is. He calls so much.
Right. And it was like, what was it last week? UFOs? Like, and the one cop, which I recognized that sheriff guy. I didn't look up who he was.
I recognize him,
but he's got one of those face. Like, I know I've seen him in a lot of things, but he kind of smiles. He's like, Leprechaun. That's a good one. and this is also. This is the real. Everybody is on the same page now. Like Tori and Alex and Nathan have all now seen the leprechaun, and they know that Ozzy was not full of shit. Yeah,
there's definitely something there. Whether it's a leprechaun or not, we don't know, but they do know that it's a sinister-looking leprechaun-like monster.
Right.
So meanwhile, Alex returns with the shotgun. He gives it to Nathan, who they're still battling out with the leprechaun, and he shoots the leprechaun, and it falls over and into a bush, and Tori helps Nathan out of the trap, and they look into the bush, can't see nothing, but he fires like 5 more shots into the bush, and when they look over, the leprechaun is gone.
And I like this, the way they do, to where if you shoot the leprechaun, it hurts him, and it knocks, like it'll take him down for a few seconds, compared to like Jason Voorhees, where if you shoot him, he just like looks at you and keeps coming. So it's just a different take that you don't normally see. Where like he gets shot with a shotgun like 20 times in this movie. And it won't kill him, but it does slow him down.
And if you know your leprechaun lore, like I do now since I watched this movie, you understand that there is only really one way.
There's only one
to kill a leprechaun.
Right. It's also similar to how you trap a leprechaun.
So now the group gets Nathan back into the house, and they're kind of patching him up, and Tori tries the phone, but it's dead. It's just a flat line. So she sends Ozzy off to find anything that could help to stop the bleeding on Nathan's leg, and Alex goes to get some ice. Now Tori and Ozzy are back together, and they carry Nathan out and put him in the truck to get him to the hospital. But, of course, the truck won't start. We did learn earlier that they have a bad distributor on this truck, and Alex knows how to start it. So once he tries to start the truck, we know it's not going to start because we saw it in the movie earlier. And Nathan says, "Distributor, Alex, go get it." So Alex jumps out, and he's kind of being real quiet and careful because he don't want the leprechaun to jump out and get him. And when he lifts the hood up, the leprechaun jumps out. And he's got all the plug wires in his mouth. So it's like, what the hell? So Alex jumps back into the truck with the others. The leprechaun breaks a window, and he climbs in, and he's attacking the group. And he actually does he scratch or bite? I think he bites Ozzy, or dim-witted.
Yeah, I think he bites. I think he bites him.
Kind of like on his cheek area. And Tori, thinking really quick, and some people won't know this, but there used to be cigarette lighters in your cars back in the day. Now, a lot of cars still have the place where you would think a cigarette lighter would be, but you would plug your charger into it.
Yep.
But it used to actually be, and I did have to explain this to my daughter, what a cigarette lighter was, because she was really amazed.
Yep.
And
these coils turn orange, and then you can light your smoke.
You push it in, wait a couple seconds, it pops out, and you can light your cigarette. And I said, there used to be ashtrays in here, too.
I remember that, too.
So she does that. She pushes the cigarette lighter in. It pops out. And she puts the hot cigarette lighter on Leprechaun's nose. And it burns the shit out of him. So with the burnt nose now, Leprechaun, he runs away to the barn. And he leaves the group alone where they hear a welder working. And you can see lights from the inside of the barn. And this is kind of funny. Kind of weird. But this guy, when he comes busting out after, I don't know, 15 seconds of welding and whatever he's doing in there, he comes out on a little homemade kind of go-kart looking thing with a pitchfork sticking out of the front nose of it. and he comes riding out, and he's headed right to the truck where they're all in. And he hits this little car into the truck, and the truck goes rolling over again.
It's leprechaun magic. Physics do not apply,
because this is a full-size pickup truck, and it goes rolling like it got hit by a dump truck. Leprechaun now, he gets out of his little homemade go-kart, and he opens the truck door, but everybody's gone. They're hiding behind a tree, and as he's kind of looking into the truck, the leprechaun's kind of looking in the truck. They make a break for it. And the leprechaun, he pursues after him, and they go back to the house where they just make it inside. They slam the door shut as he's reaching in, and the door slam causes his hand to be severed, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I've never seen a door slam.
Cut someone's hand completely off.
Sometimes wondered if it could, but...
You don't have razor blade edged doors?
I don't. But anyways, this leprechaun's hand falls to the inside of the door, climbs up, to the doorknob and unlocks the door and lets the leprechaun in. Can't make this stuff up, folks. So now the leprechaun reaches down, since he's back together with his hand. He picks up the hand. Did he put the hand back on or what? I think it just shows him standing there with the hand, and we kind of cut scene away from it.
I don't remember if they show him reattaching it or not.
I almost don't think they show it, because I think the next time we see it, his hand is back.
Right.
So we just assume that it kind of...
Based on what we've seen, he can absolutely put his hand back on.
He can weld and build anything in like 13 seconds and all kinds of great stuff. But
he can bolt that thing together.
Again, like we know, it is leprechaun magic.
That's right.
So inside, Tori, she grabs her cell phone and she calls the police, and she gets through to him and says that they need help at such and such address. But then all of a sudden, her battery dies on her phone. The sheriff, he calls that deputy. Now, this is going to be our deputy that's already been met the leprechaun and got his neck broke.
Yep.
And when you see him calling the deputy, there's actually an answer, and he says, "I'm 5 minutes away from the farmhouse. I can get over there." But as the camera pans over, we see it is the leprechaun using the deputy's voice.
Yeah.
So that's going to give this leprechaun time where no police are going to be around. So now back in the house, the group wonders why the police haven't shown up yet, and Tori still doesn't believe that the attack may not be a leprechaun, because leprechauns don't exist, but it is definitely something. And Ozzy tells her that it is a leprechaun, and he's trying to find his gold, and they decide that right here and there that the gold is what the leprechaun is after. And if they decide a plan, if they can give the gold back to the leprechaun, he'll leave him alone. He'll be happy, leave him alone.
And I think that's true. I think he would leave them alone.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. They're obsessed with their gold.
Right.
They're 100 gold coins. Got to be 100.
Right.
So Tori goes outside with a shotgun, and she goes out to get the gold out of the well where Alex and Ozzy hid it. And as she's bringing up the bucket, she's got she's turning the well and the crank and the ropes winding up on it. And the leprechaun, he sneaks up behind her, and he's wanting the bag of gold. So she just does it. She just gives the gold to the leprechaun, making his powers even a little bit stronger. I think when she hands it over to him, you see a little light.
And the CG green streaks.
Yeah, and we're supposed to know that this is the leprechaun gaining even more power. So Tori runs back into the house. And
doesn't the leprechaun even kiss her?
I think he does. I think he does.
When she gives him the gold back.
Like he's done with it. He's good. So she runs back in the house and tells him that they're all safe now because she returned the gold to the leprechaun. So then we get a scene where the leprechaun's sitting down and he's counting all his gold, and he's like 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. And that's it. That's as high as it goes. So he is missing.
He's missing a coin.
And
we know where it is.
Yeah,
if you've been paying attention through the movie, we know where the other coin is.
So now the leprechaun, he's upset again. He needs his 100 gold coins. So he goes back to the others, and when he comes into the house, Nathan tries to shoot the leprechaun, but it's too fast. It's kind of going back and forth, and we kind of reminds me of a Scooby-Doo episode where it goes by and the door opening.
The hallway shot.
Yeah, it's kind of like Duck Hunt or something, but it's kind of a funny little scene there. He does not hit it, so searching for the leprechaun, trying to get rid of it again, they just don't understand right now why he's still after him.
Yep.
And Nathan does end up shooting the leprechaun, and they think it's dead. It does fall down, but then it jumps up and runs away. And now they're on the hunt for the leprechaun again, and Nathan and Tori hear a noise, and it's the leprechaun on a skateboard. So our little leprechaun's on a skateboard, and I was thinking this. I kind of felt when I was watching this movie like they went to Warwick Davis and said, "Do you have any talents? Is there anything you can do?" And he said, "Yeah, I can ride a tricycle. I can ride a roller skate.
Yeah, I can skateboard.
Yeah, I can skateboard." It's just funny. So he fires the gun, and of course he misses again. So the leprechaun goes back into the basement as Nathan puts his ear down to the upper floor to listen into the basement below. The leprechaun busts out of the floor. He fires another shot, but the leprechaun escapes. At this point, with the leprechaun gone, the phone does ring now.
Yeah.
And Tori answers it. It's the leprechaun, and he tells her that he wants his last gold coin. Using his magic, the leprechaun has a little hand come out through the receiver of the phone, and it kind of reminds you of Freddy Krueger when his tongue come out.
Yeah,
but it's this
that's
little
exactly
bitty
what I
tiny-
was gonna say. It's like a mix. It makes me think of that, and then it makes me think of Scary Movie 2, the "Take My Strong Hand."
Yeah, it does. That's hilarious. So they don't understand why this leprechaun won't leave him alone. They gave him the gold. Ozzy explains finally that earlier in the movie, as we saw, while he was trying to test the gold to see if it was real, bite it between his teeth, like you see all the people in the movies do, he accidentally swallowed that one gold coin. So there is our 100th coin. It is in Ozzy's belly. So Ozzy says the only person that can help him is Old Man Grady. He knows everything about leprechauns because Ozzy used to come over to his house and hang out with Grady, and he used to tell him all about Irish folklore and stuff like that. So, and we find out, I don't think you even found out until just now that Dan O'Grady, the old man at the beginning, did not die when he fell over. I thought he died.
Yeah, right.
And I think you're led to believe that, but come find out he just had a stroke, and he is in the local nursing home just outside of town. So they decide that they need to find out how to stop this leprechaun. They need to go talk to Old Man Grady.
Because he knows.
He knows. So this is pretty funny and pretty genius, too, of the group here. They decide to make their break for it and to get to the truck so they don't get attacked by the leprechaun. They load up a bunch of old shoes and boots. And as they're headed out to the truck, the leprechaun starts attacking, and they just start throwing boots and shoes all over the place. And the leprechaun's got to stop and go clean every shoe. So they're able to make their escape.
And he doesn't even say anything. He's just like, huh, every time. Like, he's so frustrated because he sees these dirty shoes.
He's got to clean every single one of them. So they're able to get in Tori's dad's Jeep, and they drive to the rest home and meet up with Dan O'Grady and try to get directions on how to kill the leprechaun. So the rest of the folks, they stay back there, and as Tori's leaving in the Jeep, the leprechaun, he grabs hold of the Jeep's bumper while wearing a pair of roller skates.
Yes. He has many modes of travel.
And he gets flung into a fence, and Corey's able to get to the rest home. But it's funny because he busts through this kind of privacy fence, and then you hear him, and then he climbs back through his hole.
It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
It is.
There's a leprechaun-shaped hole in the fence, and then he crawls back through it.
And then he gets on his little leprechaun skates and skates away back, towards the rest home to stop.
This is completely unrelated, but it made me, while watching the scene in the movie, I grew up a video game kid, so I still play games, but there was a Sega Genesis game that was called Skitchin', and it was rollerbladers. It was roller skates. It was rollerblades.
Yeah.
But you would hold on to the bumpers of cars, and then you get speed, and then you'd draft around them.
Remember that?
Yeah,
I might remember that.
It was called Skitchin', and I used to rent that from the video store.
No shit.
Yep.
All right. Maybe I'll do some skitching around here. So now Tori pulls into the rest home to go find Dan O'Grady, and she sneaks by security and finds Mr. O'Grady's room number. And as she's walking down the rest home hallways, she finds his room, and he's in a wheelchair, and his back is towards her. So she sees the back of his neck and his head, and she tells him that the leprechaun is back, and she needs his help. He says there's only one way to kill a leprechaun, and his back is still towards her. She still hasn't seen his face. But when he spins around, it is the leprechaun.
Yeah. Well, before he turns around, his voice changes a little bit, and he's like, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. There's only one way to kill a leprechaun, but I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. And she freaks out, runs away with the leprechaun chasing. in the wheelchair, which again, it's that sped up motion. It's hilarious.
Smoking ass down the hallway in his wheelchair.
So Tori escapes into an elevator, and the elevator doors, they shut right before the leprechaun can get to her, and you hear him hit the outer doors, kaboom, in his wheelchair. And then as she's in the elevator, all of a sudden a body falls out from the ceiling of the elevator, and it is our main man, Dan O'Grady.
Yeah.
And he's all beaten up. He's got blood all over him. Looks like the leprechaun got to him pretty bad, but turns out he's not dead, and he's able to say some last few words before he passes away. So he tells Tori the only way to kill a leprechaun is you must place a 4-leaf clover from the clover patch next to the well and place it on the leprechaun.
Yep.
That'll destroy his powers, and then he will die. That's all she needed.
Yep.
So she is out of there. She's back in the Jeep and heading back to the farm, and the leprechaun is pursuing her in the wheelchair still in that sped up motion. Right. It looks hilarious.
He any wheels will do.
Yeah, this dude is all over. So she gets to the clover patch. When she pulls up, she goes straight to the well, goes to this clover patch. It's all green in that area. Everything else is all brown. And she's looking for a 4-leaf clover, but the leprechaun, he jumps out. Tori runs and sees the police cruiser. She's like, oh my God, the police. So she runs towards it with the leprechaun chasing. He's on foot now. He's gotten out of his wheelchair. She jumps into the police cruiser and finds, of course, our dead deputy. The leprechaun bangs on the window, and Tori stabs him in the eye with the police baton. Again, I didn't know a police baton could go
puncture like that.
I mean, it was like it had a knife on
like
it.
It had been like trimmed to a point.
Yeah. And this was actually pretty decent special effects here, because
all through the movie,
it does.
Like it's all. I mean, it's not mind blowing, but it's solid.
It's decent.
Yeah, there's nothing that you see other than the CGI, like the green streaks when he uses magic.
Right.
I mean, that looks super fake, but any practical effects all look really good.
Yeah, so,
I mean, look very good, solid.
So he pulls the baton out of his eye, and then, because now he's missing an eye, he reaches over to our dead deputy and pulls his eyeball out and stuffs it into his empty eye socket. So now Nathan and Ozzy, they show up, and Nathan shoots the leprechaun with the shotgun and gets Tori out of the cruiser. She tells the two about needing to find the 4-leaf clover at the clover patch by the well. So they head over there, and they're all three looking for a 4-leaf clover. Meantime, Alex is, he wants to put his big boy pants on and catch this leprechaun, so he's got his own deal going over here. He's setting a bear trap to kind of try to catch the leprechaun in that. So still searching for the 4-leaf clover. Ozzy says that they have to have faith and you have to believe.
You're right.
She's wanting to give up.
She's getting frustrated.
Tori's looking and looking. She can't find one. She just says, we're never going to do this. It's never going to happen. And Ozzy says, Tori, you have to have faith. You have to believe. You have to believe in magic.
If you believe in magic.
And after he tells her that, she looks down, and lo and behold, it's a 4-leaf clover.
Which glows also.
Yeah, it is a perfect 4-leaf clover. She believed in the magic, so it happened. So in the barn where Alex is setting the bear trap, the leprechaun jumps out and gets him down. He's kind of straddling him. And Ozzy opens the door and tells the leprechaun that it's him he wants. I have the coin in my belly. Ozzy runs away, and the leprechaun chases after him, leaving Alex alone.
Yeah.
So now the leprechaun catches up with Ozzy, and it starts beating the hell out of him and yelling, "Me wants me last coin."
Yeah, and he's just like slashing the shit out of his face.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. Like he's just ripping at him.
Yeah. So Alex runs up and puts the 4-leaf clover in a wad of chewing gum. Can't make this shit up again. And using a slingshot, pulls back and shoots the 4-leaf clover slash gum wad right into the leprechaun's mouth. Alex says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms." And this is, I cannot remember what they had. They had something else.
I figured this was what you were talking about before.
And and instead of using the other, it was still foul language and everything, but they ended up going with "Fuck you, Lucky Charms." And then he does shoot and it goes right into his mouth, the chewing gum mixed with the 4-leaf clover. So now the leprechaun, it starts convulsing and its skin starts melting and boiling and lights kind of glow around him. And he's looking pretty nasty right now. Again, special effects look great.
Yep.
And the body falls into the well.
Yep.
We're back to the group and they're all gathering themselves up and they think that they're safe now. Leprechaun's dead, but all of a sudden he pulls himself up and he's kind of now looks like kind of a zombie leprechaun.
Yeah.
And he says, "I want me gold." And Nathan hits the leprechaun with the butt of that shotgun that they had, knocking it back down to the bottom, pours gas down the well shaft, and throws a match down, causing a huge explosion.
Yeah. I have a question.
I have lots of questions.
So, just generally speaking, do you think if you lit a match and dropped it down a well that it would stay lit till it hit the bottom?
No, it would lose oxygen.
Yeah.
Now, there could be
it's
fumes.
also, right, the fumes are what's flammable, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't have to hit the liquid. Okay.
Yeah. It's possible, I guess.
I'll give it a pass.
Okay. You already gave a pass to the leprechaun on the roller skates.
Right, yeah. I'm not going to pick at the fireball in the well.
Yeah, that's the hill you're going to die on, Steve, here.
That doesn't work.
Oh, shit. So now as they're watching this fire burn, the police show up and everyone is safe. A little banged up, but for the most part safe. And the camera kind of moves back over to the well, and we hear the leprechaun. "I'll not rest till I have me gold. Curse this well that me soul shall dwell, till I find me magic that breaks me spell." And that is the end.
Right.
So
that's teed up the sequel right there.
He's got to wait for somebody to release him again.
Yep. So apparently the touching it with the clover doesn't actually kill it.
Yeah.
Strongly takes it down, but
Right.
but it's not the end of the story for the leprechaun. So.
Right. Obviously, because we got 8 or 9 sequels.
Yeah. So all right. Well, that was Leprechaun from 1993.
And if it sounds bizarre, it is bizarre.
It is. But it's fun bizarre.
It is fun bizarre.
All right. Well, we will go ahead now and get into our official rating and review.
Now that we've seen what there is to see, how many never not horror howls will be given?
All right. Rich, this was your pick, so you go first. What is your official rating and review of Leprechaun?
All right. I had a blast with this movie. Watching it again for the first time in a long time. I forgot how much I enjoyed it. It's just a great time watching it. I would recommend it to anybody, really, especially if you're a horror fan. And I would say a younger audience could watch it. I would think.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of movies you let your children watch, but
yeah.
It does have a little bit of foul language, but a lot of gore. But other than that, it seems like it could be like a Goosebumps type movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would recommend it to anybody, even the younger, probably 13 maybe. I would think we'd be safe to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean the 9, 10, 11-year-olds, like that's parental decision,
right,
at your discretion.
Yeah.
Like what can your kid handle if that maybe that gore is too much, but generally speaking, I feel like this is pretty good starter horror.
Right, yeah. Doesn't have great acting, has suffice acting. They're funny, the cast works well together.
Yeah.
The screenplay is full of holes and convenience, which makes, I think, part of the fun of it, really.
Right.
But if you're looking for something to not take really seriously and just have a good time,
Shut your brain off.
Yes, definitely check this out. And as far as Never Not Horror House, I when I say this, it's going to sound like I'm bashing it, but I'm not. I do love this movie, and I can find myself watching it again soon, probably, just to have fun with it. But I'm going to go as low as give it a 2 out of 5 howls.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Overall, but I mean, if we had a fun meter, it would be a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I have to take in consideration our screenplay and all the holes in it, and the acting ain't the greatest, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 out of 5. That is below probably average. So I would be in the tomato meter.
You're still above the tomato meter average.
Okay.
2 out of 5 would get you at 40%.
Yeah.
And the average was 33.
So I am above them, but I don't let that 2 out of 5 howls keep you from watching this movie, because you're going to have a blast with it out there.
Yeah. Okay, wow. I swung and missed on that curveball. That was nasty.
Old Uncle Charlie.
In the dirt. All right. Well, I mean, I agree. Again, like, this isn't a divisive movie, really. Like, I agree with what you said. It's just a great time to watch. It's funny. There's gore. Yes, it's not high art. It's not The Shining or something, right? Like, I mean, this is a B horror movie. It's a good time. Shut your brain off and just laugh at the Leprechaun. I think damn near every character in the movie that's not one of the main 4 gets murdered in the movie by the Leprechaun. Like, it's just, except for the sheriff.
Yeah.
That's about it. But, I mean, again, also like you, I mean, I hadn't watched it in probably 2 or 3 years, and I really enjoyed my watch through. I was laughing like out loud at things, and
absolutely.
I mean, honestly, more like I would. And it's interesting that I never really thought of this as a horror comedy. And if I was putting a horror comedy list together, Leprechaun before wouldn't have come to mind, but now it kind of does.
Yeah.
Like, this is a funny movie.
It is.
So, I mean, I had a great time revisiting. I really liked it. Your 2 out of 5 gives me pause here. Like, it's like, man. And I'm coming at it from, and this, as we go, this gets harder and harder because we're on our 23rd deep dive. And before this, 2.5 was the lowest rating either of us had given. So I'm going to give you to consider here. You gave Christmas Evil either a 2.5 or a 3.
Yeah.
So you're saying you like that more than Leprechaun?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love the acting job that our
It is
lead
good.
did
It is
on
good.
Christmas
I
Evil.
agree with
thought
you.
he did great.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I gave it the edge there, and
Okay.
it's more of a straightforward horror movie.
Okay. All right. I'm going to come in because I'm thinking like of my rating benchmark. So like back in the beginning, Halloween was a 3.5.
Yeah.
So obviously this is not in the ballpark of Halloween. I'm not going to go quite as low as you did. I'm going to come in at a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Halfway there. Like, and I feel weird. Like, I almost just want to be like, no, I'll just give it a 3. But then I think about The Howling and Hellraiser, or maybe I gave that 3.5. But movies that I've given a 3 to that are better movies than this.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the rating, my rating, your rating, is based on how much we enjoy a movie. Right. Which, in this case, I really enjoyed this movie.
I did enjoy it too, but
so,
something made me give it a less than. I think I gave Halloween a 3. I did.
I feel like maybe we both did 3.5.
Oh, did we? Okay,
I think so. But yeah. I mean, maybe that's inconsistency on our part, but. Yeah, I mean, I was ready to say 3 or even 3.5, and then
I spit out the 2.
The whole way here, like when I was driving here, I was thinking like 3.5, like Leprechaun and Halloween in the same ranking. Like, and maybe that's on me for putting Halloween at 3.5, but yeah, I'm gonna go 2.5. I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay.
Again, this is a horror movie for horror fans.
It is.
This is not gonna. If you're trying to turn someone on to horror that's not a kid, yes, this is good entry-level horror.
If your
But-
wife hates horror, she is
don't watch
going
Leprechaun.
to hate this.
She's not going to like Leprechaun. You've got to be a horror fan to be into it. So, considering that whole package, I'm going to go 2.5. Yeah.
Okay.
So I agree.
Very good.
2 and 2.5 with respect. Much
Yes.
love for Leprechaun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just not in the tier of other movies. It's going to come in at 2 and 2.5.
I totally agree with giving it 8 or 9 sequels. It deserves it.
Yeah.
It's such a good time. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, sorry, Jim. What a diversion there. Like, we just praised and laughed the whole time, and then it's like 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I know. It kind of hurts to do that, but I got to keep everything in perspective and think about our, later on when we have a quick cuts where we might rank our top movies that we've done. This is not going to be one of my top movies.
No, for
I
sure.
don't want to place it as far as Never Not Horror House with those others that I do have high howls on.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, that will do it for our coverage of Leprechaun. So, if you like the show, please like, rate, review, do what you do. Tell your friends about Never Not Horror. If you want to pick up some Never Not Horror merch, you can go to nevernothorror.dashery.com. If you want to support us outside of the show, youtube.com, search for Rich Hansel and you'll find his channel, steveclarkbooks.com, and you can find my books and links to the shop and all the stuff. So next week will be quick cuts, and we are, as has kind of become tradition, we're skipping a week of the Horror by the Decades. So this week, we are going to do what I am calling a study in sequels.
Nice.
So we're going to just, no ranking or anything. We're just going to ride that discussion episode theme and talk about sequels. And when I say that, I mean specifically the part 2s, like a direct sequel. There will be time for franchise talks later on. So we're going to get into that and talk about the sequels that were really good or maybe really bad, and just kind of look at sequels and horror as a whole. And so be a good time. There's a lot of good stuff there to talk about. So thank you for listening. Spread the word about Never Not Horror, and come back next week where whatever it is, it's never not horror.
Oh, yeah.
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.